Hey everyone, it's RK Bentley again, coming at you today with some more roadside apologetics. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate all my visitors. I wanted to talk today about one proof or argument or evidence that people cite sometimes as evidence for evolution. And this is the to help establish a common ancestor of different types of animals. They sometimes point to similarities between different animals and use that as evidence that they had a common ancestor. And one thing, I was watching a YouTube video not too long ago, and they were talking about the number of neck bones, the cervical vertebrae in giraffes. Do you happen to know how many cervical vertebrae giraffes have? Well, it happens to be the same number that humans have. They have 7 cervical vertebrae. They have 7 neck bones. And as a matter of fact, most mammals have 7 neck bones. And so this person who was citing this statistic was saying that this is evidence that they all had a common ancestor. And I just thought, that's kind of strange. It sounds a little contrived. So I wanted to put that theory to a test. So I thought, what are some things, if giraffes and humans have a common number of neck bones as the result of having a common ancestor, then what other things might we predict about the theory? Well, if all mammals have descended from a common ancestor, then I would say, okay, they all would have 7 cervical vertebrae, right? Well, a quick search on Wikipedia shows that that's not true. Manatee and sloth have different numbers of cervical vertebrae. Manatee, I think, have 6 cervical vertebrae. Sloths, I think, have 9 or 10. So it's not a universal number. Okay, so are they saying that manatee and sloth, who are both mammals, are not descended from this? Okay, so the fact that the feature isn't universal is one failure of an evolutionary prediction. Okay. Number 2, if it's true as as a result of having common ancestor that we have the same number of neck bones, what about other parts of the spine? Well, do all mammals have the same number of thoracic vertebrae, for example? No, they don't. They have varying numbers, and it varies widely sometimes. And so when you compare all the spine, they're not all similar. Okay, the similarity is limited to the neck, and it's not even universal in the neck. So that's the second failure of the prediction. What about the number of ribs? Do you think that all mammals, if they've descended from a common ancestor, would have the same number of ribs? Well, you might think so, but they don't. They have varying number of ribs. Even in the famous horse evolution series, which I might have to talk about in another video in the future, there's reversals. There's different numbers in the ribs between the supposed ancestor and the descendants. It's more, it's less, it's more. So it goes back and forth. So there's no common denomination in the number of ribs. What about other classes of animals? If all mammals have 7 cervical vertebrae because they have a common ancestor, then do all birds have the same number of neck vertebrae? Well, no, they don't. Do all dinosaurs have the same number of neck vertebrae? No. Do all amphibians? No. Do all reptiles? No. You see, the similarity exists only in mammals, and even that's not universal. Okay, so that's another failure of that prediction. If birds have descended from dinosaurs, if they are supposed to be evolved from dinosaurs, then would there be some correlation between the number of vertebrae in the necks of birds compared to dinosaurs? Well, you might expect it, but you know what? There's not. The long-necked sauropods, I think, had 19, or up to 19. The bipedal dinosaurs generally had maybe 12 or so on average, and birds have up to 25. Okay, there's not a correlation. So there's no similarity when you compare the birds to dinosaurs. So, this notion that because humans and giraffes have 7 neck bones, that's evidence we have a common ancestor, is just it's a convenient fact that they're trying to exploit as evidence for their theory, when the fact of the matter is that that's simply a single statistic and is not reflective when you look at the whole body of evidence, okay? That's not true in other classes of animals. That's not true even among all mammals. It's not true of the other parts of the body, like the rest of the spine, for example. So it's really not even that good of evidence, okay? If evolution predicts that giraffes and humans should have 7 neck bones, okay, then it fails because the other parts of the spine don't have the similar number of vertebrae. Other classes of animals don't have similar number of vertebrae, okay? So it's a pretty useless theory that you try to explain things one way. They are this way because of evolution, but it doesn't have to be that way because it's not that way anywhere else, okay? It's a useless prediction. It's not actually even a prediction. So it's really not even a good argument. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I appreciate y'all stopping by. If this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. You all have a great day. God bless.